Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Andrea Christian Parks and welcome back to class number 2. We're talking about caring for your heart. This is the Care for Your Heart Challenge in honor of Women's Heart Health Month. And so for this month of February, we are going to talk about how to get your heart healthy. And one of the big things, this is going to sound a little odd, that you can do for your heart is rest. I know everybody's like, oh, exercise, cardio, lift weights, do the, okay. We're not even going to talk about exercise this week. We're not. I'm a fan, but we're not talking about that this week, even though we're talking about heart health. Remember, cardiovascular disease or heart disease is the #1 killer of women, particularly after menopause. So let's talk about our scripture of the day. We're looking at Psalm 127, verse number 2, and it says, "In vain you rise early and stay up late, toiling for food to eat, for he grants sleep to those he loves." So I think, this is my opinion, that the Lord is a fan of sleep and rest. And part of why I think that is very interesting. First of all, there's scriptures like that, but also, there's good scientific data that kind of backs up the need for sleep. We live in a culture that does not support rest. There is more discussion these days, certainly about rest, sleep, self-care, and how important it is to get enough sleep and how we don't get enough sleep. But here's the problem. We came from a place where the culture said, you're not supposed to sleep. Like, what did people say growing up? Well, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Like, the whole hustle culture is so ingrained in us, and especially for women, we are in this place of, I have to take care of everything, everybody. We are trained to be the caretakers and have this mentality of, if I don't do it, it won't get done. And so we feel this inordinate amount of pressure and strain and stress to take care of everything. And the first thing to get sacrificed is sleep. And then on top of all that, we're going through menopause, perimenopause, and we are not sleeping well anyway. Also, with the drop in hormones that we all experience as we go through this transition, we end up with higher rates of depression and anxiety. That if you didn't have depression or anxiety before perimenopause, and now you feel like, I might be depressed. I feel so much more anxiety than I used to. You're not crazy. It's hormone related. Do you have to be on hormones? No. Is it an option? Yes. Back to sleep. Okay. Here's the thing about sleep. You got to figure out what you need to do to get enough sleep. Some people, that's going to look like going on hormones, like micronized progesterone at bedtime so you can get better sleep, which is very safe. Very safe. Bye-bye. Also, though, for some women, that's going to look like taking naps. So I want to throw that out there. Sometimes you'll get a good chunk of sleep at night, but not enough to feel like you got enough sleep. But you can make some of it up. It used to be that people said, oh, no, you can't. Sleep deficit, that's it. You just tough. Like you got to just do better. Yeah, but you can do better by getting some sleep during the day. And that might look like a 20-minute power nap. It might look like leaning back in your desk chair, putting your feet up, and closing your eyes for a few minutes. It might look like just rest. What does rest sometimes look like? Rest sometimes looks like sitting in your chair for 5 minutes, turning your phone on Do Not Disturb, and breathing deep breaths and deep exhales. That might be the rest you get, and that is okay. But I want you to remember, God is a fan of rest and of sleep, and he knows we don't rest and we don't sleep if we're worried, if we're not connected to him. So he tells us over and over again to stay connected with him, to keep close to him. Try not to cut my fingers off here while I get to this very end of this cabbage. But we definitely want to sleep if we can. And we want to do whatever we can to optimize sleep. It is correlated with longevity. If we're not getting enough sleep, we're not getting enough rest, we are damaging ourselves. We're not giving our bodies time for rest and repair. That happens during sleep. And it can be frustrating because you very much feel like, I don't know how to fix this. I can't sleep. I'm having hot flashes. I'm having night sweats. I'm having anxiety. I wake up at 3 a.m. I can't go back to bed. I get it. I get it. And there are things we can do. I'm not going to get to all of that this week, but I want to tell you and remind you how important it is to get some sleep. And even if it's not in one big chunk, I don't want you to worry, I got to get 7 hours uninterrupted every night. Most of us, that's not going to happen, but that's not the problem. And you can still get enough sleep, even if it's broken up. I'll tell you one thing for myself. I've started to go to bed earlier. I used to think it was crazy. I was like, why are some folks going to bed and their teenagers are still up and they're in the bed? I get it now. They can stay up. I don't even worry about them. I need to go to sleep. 9 o'clock around here, I'm like, y'all need anything? Because I'm out. And so at 9 o'clock, I'm upstairs doing my bedtime routine. I'm doing my skincare. I'm, getting myself ready for bed. I am going to sleep. And they know it. And don't come in my room after 9:30. Don't come asking me for stuff. Now, does it work all the time? No. Sometimes when you have teenagers, they want to actually talk to you late at night. Okay, sacrifices sometimes have to be made. But routinely? So I go to sleep later. When I don't have to, I don't get up early. So you got to make your decisions. What do I want to do? I wake up multiple times a night. So I try to be in bed earlier and later than I used to. I'm much more likely to get enough sleep that way. So I can do that. I can't do that when I'm on call, but I can do that other days. So you figure out what you can do. All right? Just remember, the Lord is a fan of sleep. Sleep is good for your heart, and sleep is a priority. What can you do today? Can you take a 20-minute power nap? Can you just put your feet up for a little bit? Can you take 5 minutes, set a timer, and just focus on your breath? What can you do to get more rest today? All right, I'll see you for class number 3.